Hey guys, this Rick here. You know, let's see. It's interesting that I keep coming on again. I like to come on. I want to chat, and I decide what I would do is I would communicate with this one person online that's given me the idea, and then I would turn around and see if I could use it as some kind of a lesson. Because it takes like about 20 minutes, 30 minutes just to type in what I say and try to correct my spelling and everything. And it's not always easy. But anyhow, this one was, where you get your information from. Where does it show you in there that Jesus is the Kundalini and stuff? Where do you see that at? Where you get your information from? This new age, you're making it all up and stuff. I can't, I really can't spell. I'm terrible at spelling. I'm an awful writer, and I made awful grades all the time in English classes and stuff like that, I learned, it was like in my, when I was a junior in high school, I had run out of things that I could take as far as like the things to try to pass in English. But there was this one course, it was called Developmental Reading. And, it sounds like something you do if you're retarded or something like that, but it winds up being like a college prep course. And it taught me about the Cornell system of note-taking. It taught me how to read, basically. It brought me from being an introvert into an extrovert, because I really, was just short a few things. And, it was wonderful. It taught me how to take tests, I made A's and B's after that. I honestly did, and I wish, I would have loved to have had this. Maybe at, 5th grade or something, I was just wondering. But, we all are supposed to learn things as we move on, So that's what I'm in there. I'm in this place where I'm pushing this envelope, where, not even Jesus during his time, in the book and all, came right out and told you the truth. It came out as being a parable, whether they did it on purpose or not, it may be a part of that idea of being deceiving the deceiver, that if you do not go inside, then you will never know. You will be that's why it's the road less traveled. But where do you get that information from? They said, where do you get that from? But, I said, I get it from the Bible itself. I say the good book. And it says, the good book. What book is that? I said, well, listen here. Sherlock Holmes, I get it from the Bible. It's meant to be important, and it tells you how to read it, Someone else told people, just sit down and read the Bible. Sit down and go read it, Imagine, it used to be a torture. Go in and read Bible, shit. And I read over to the dirty parts where, Lot's getting screwed by his 2 daughters. Oh, man, this is something they're going to be passing around in school, making fun of it. Only because this is what they call the letter, when you deal things with from the letter. In the Bible, one of the writers, Apostle Paul, says, being ministers of the New Testament, not by the letter, for the letter kills, but by the Spirit, for the Spirit saves. So whether or not, you don't have to look into it far to see that there's 2 stories there that they're talking about. There's a outside way of doing something, and there's like an inside way of doing something. And they tell you the parables. Parable has a story. Jesus is asked by his insider group, who wrote the Bible, whose testaments we hear today. They wrote in parables too. They wrote Jesus' parables, and they asked him, they said, Jesus, why is it that you tell us the kingdom? You give us the keys to the kingdom, but you're only telling them parables. That's really what they're saying, or what they're asking. It's the question. Jesus says, to you it is known. It's to you you're worthy, because they go in. To them that are without, all things are going to be parables. There's another hint on there being 2 stories there. All right? And now you want to get down to the basics of things. Everything being in this kind of a duality. If you have an outside, there's an inside. All right? And so, Where's Jesus at? Well, the makers of that Bible there, aside from their just finding it, it was translated by the Greeks, and the Greeks are the ones who made Jesus' name up. They took away Yeshua, anti-Semitic, even back then. And and their culture didn't think at all about women. That's their culture. So we are still reliving their culture couple thousand years later, but this is what they wrote into this book. But anyways, it's all coded and by things that they know. So this is Greek mythology, more mythology. It's just, and it's really smart, and it's beautiful, and it's as if there's been a war on knowledge out there, and during this upheaval they actually burned the Library of Alexander and burned books and burned knowledge, destroyed things. They didn't even care. Just sent some retarded person in there to just destroy, not even understanding what they were destroying, trying to put us into this dark age. And that's what's happened, and this book, you read this by the way it ain't no Harlequin romance novel. You just don't go and buy it off the shelf and go and read it. It's just not that way. God says he speaks to us in dark language. Dark language means it's hidden. You can't see it. Dark also means it may be a little mean, because like he says, if you took it physically, it's going to hurt somebody. If you took it mentally, it's going to save you. So here again, cutting off the flesh. Oh, ow! You know what that is? That's when they chop off a piece of your dick. Shit. It's like putting harm on a little baby for something like that. That's a physical side. The other side is going under meditation of the single eye. This kills off the skin. It takes away the desire. Because I tell you, they cut my skin. It didn't take away a bit of my desire. Shit, So that's kind of like, what, the idea that the male is on its own, that that it's the carnal mind is not subject to the laws of God. This sets the female up to not being able to respond until this side asks for her. So, and then when she does, she submits. So the female submits to the male. There's if you take that physically, you're going to have separation, you're going to have division, you're not going to have equality. That's not very godly. It's not very high conscious. And look at what they did with her. She's totally missing for the last 2,000 years. Blamed everything on her. And she is the source to our salvation. That ain't no shit. I'm telling you. This is all I got to tell. Really what I'm saying is that there's an outside and an inside. And these dark sayings would be like, break a leg. Go break a leg. Break a leg. You don't really want them to break a leg. But break a leg, a lot of means that when the leg finally comes on stage, it's breaking that, that's a break in the leg. And another one is maybe just to do really well. I've got plenty of friends, and I work in the theater here and there. So, I've gotten a couple of different ideas of how that works. But, shooting the bull, chewing your ear off, stuff like that. You could think of thousands and thousands of them. If you took it by the letter, it's going to hurt. If you took it by the spirit saves. It's a little, because it seems really mean on the outside, but on the inside, it's not really. Someone chewing your ear off. It just means someone's just talking so much, I'm chewing your ear off. We're shooting the breeze, So that's the way he speaks to us. That's what it says. It says it in there. So I have this handy dandy little dictionary of scripture and myth. It tells me things that I don't know. If I don't know, if I want to learn, if I want to teach something, I just look in there and there it goes. I don't know why. I see it kind of out of focus, but without my glasses, I can't see. But anyhow. So I was taught how to read symbolism, and now when I look at it and hear it, I can't help but see it. It's etched into walls. There's some place in India where there's an etching on the side of the wall. It's thousands of years old, right? Or as old as they'll let us know. But it shows a man walking, or like a stride, and he's got a woman by the head of her hair, and pulling her. He's dragging her, and she's smiling. She's just so happy, and he's trudging on down, and he's really happy too. They're both happy, and they said this is showing ancient spousal abuse. And I said, damn, that's crazy. So I listened to it a little bit more, because I'm starting to hear something, see something. He says on the opposite side of this boulder, or this rock, this carving, whatever it is, this wall, shows a woman walking in stride. And she is smiling, just smiling. She's got the man by the hair. And he's got this horrible look on his face, like, oh, like that. That's the same idea. When she comes to town, she cleans house, but the guy's on his own. They're telling you the story. All we got was that little piece. It's showing the two different sides. But when she's got it, she's sitting there just happy as day with him running around, pulling her on. In our Bible, this is in the back in Revelations when they talk about it. That's the woman on the back of the whore on the back of the beast. She's only a whore in this situation because no one knows her. They just abuse her. They've shunned her. Call her a whore. That's what they think about women. That's what they've done to her. But she's on the back of the beast. The back of the beast. Yeah. It's the same backside that Moses takes his group up to get to the promised land. No, it all is in here, and I can take it. I guess I'm insult proof. I kind of, maybe it gets me mad, maybe, I want to get it. That means turning the other cheek. Someone's going to take and hit me with this, your spiritualism is fucked up, that's like, hey, that's being slapped on the right side. You're supposed to change the cheek, give them the other side. The other side is the intellect side. And that's where I'm at today. I'm talking about, I can explain my side. I turn the other cheek. That's what that means. If you took it physically, then you're letting someone beat the fuck out of you, But if you take it mentally, I'm ready. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm ready, baby. I got it. And all you get from these religious people is the same old shit. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. All they can repeat is what they see on there. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. And it, ribbit, ribbit. Remember this mouth coming out of the mouths of these people, and it's this lie that everyone is following. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Ribbit, ribbit. No. Here's something new. Call it New Age. Hell no. I'm reading the same goddamn book that you are. Well, if you're reading the King James Bible. And that helps me make the final point here, is that in the King James Bible, I'm going to note also that King James was a big old homo, But anyways, that was his contribution to us. And he made sure that when these people did the translations of this Bible, that they did it correctly, that they wrote the words down correctly, and that they found the right words for it. Some years later, some guy changed the idea of the end of the age, changed it to the end of the world. That's just to fit the top story. There's a lot of holes in the top story, a lot of holes, How is it that they don't like fags, but they can love incest? Come on, there must be something else there. There must, and I understand that the crazier the story, the deeper the spiritual wisdom is that comes from it. So, anyways, I was trying to say what it was. Oh yeah, the people that wrote this book, they hid this information. Is this what I was wanting to do? I was trying to tell you something. So I do everything right off with the top of my head without any writings. Oh, well, It tells you right there in the book how to read it. I've been doing it ever since I've learned. It's been like 4 or 5 years. I can take someone saying that, that I'm wrong, that I'm making it all up. But, one of the things that we do know about the truth is that it winds up repeating itself over and over and over again like a beacon. And it's hidden underneath this thing. So when you see it and you find it, with this beacon, every one of those stories, the Bible could be cut down to nothing. And there would still be enough information in one story to bring you back home to yourself. All right? And everyone's been so afraid and scared of themselves. And the whole world is being run around them, and they're like keeping caught up and running after it to try to stay after it, being of the world. There's just not enough time to do it, and they'd be willing to die, but they can't, You get all caught up in it, you just can't, But anyways, I was just letting you know that it was the Bible that gives me this. I'm not any kind of magic crap going on. I got a book to go by, and I got the Bible to go by, and I know a lot about symbolism and body and how the body works. Oh yeah. Where is Jesus at in the body? You said he's inside of you. And I said, oh yeah, he's a lot of things, The makers of our Bible, just wanted to make sure, that's where I was at. I think it was the mystical words and the symbolism was saved and contained in the King James Bible almost exactly the way it's supposed to have been written. And so you can see if something is out of sorts, you can tell after a while because there's a flow. It's following the cosmology of that consciousness from earth to water to air to fire to the new mind. It's always about that. All of it. Everyone keeps. You're mixing scripture and you're making this up. You're pulling one from here and pulling one from there, and you're just doing. You are confusing everyone. You are just. And I look at them and say, every one of these stories is saying the same thing, so you could use them. You could use them. You can take this piece out of this one, put it over here, and this one over here, and put it out of that one. Or can't you see that they keep saying the same things over and over again? Can't you recognize a pattern? And that could be where my dyslexia comes in, even though it fucks me up because I get in and out mixed up and all that, and, and up and down, screwed up all the time. It does allow me to see patterns, and that's pretty neat. All right, so I don't know where I was going otherwise, but then it's because the Bible was written the way it was, and that it contains, the secrets to how to get inside of it. And that this book that I'm reading here is 80 years old. Somebody dedicated their entire life on figuring out what some of these meanings were. And all things mystical. And what a wonderful book. What a wonderful book. Yeah, man-made, but he's defining man-made stuff. We have no idea about the days of old and the dark sayings, but they're right there in front of us, like stone the queers, stone the homos, and stone babies, stone that woman, she sins. There's a lot of stoning going on at the same time. We're not allowed to kill anything, but we can sure torture something. We'll just bring it that close to death, No, you just have to realize that there is a good side of the Bible and a bad side of the Bible, and the world is living and sucking from the titty of the outside of the Bible. Learn to suck from the inside and bring some of that light back into this world. All right, I love you and best to you guys. All right.